about a high prevalence of suicide, even in Sri Lanka or globally. We, after coming out of the pandemic, and even before then, there's a rise in suicides. And when we look at those who have outcried suicide, we tend to see some of these things: low self-esteem, low self-worth, hopelessness. And so how did that child get to that place? How did the teen come to that place? Well, it all comes down to, most of it comes down to attachments at their crucial developmental age, or the lack of it even thereafter. So we're not just talking about 0 to 5-year-olds needing strong attachments and bonds. We're talking about children throughout development, 0 to 18, the teenage years. If they don't feel like they're heard, there are a lot of teens who look to the world to get their self-worth and self-esteem, and then when the world fails them, they don't have an outlet, and then they might go into depression or some kind of mental health disorder. So it's so crucial to listen to children. I talked about that earlier. Children, adults, some of us adults, I myself included, we tend to think that we can multitask. And honestly, I have to tell you, I have come to the conclusion that I personally am a poor multitasker, especially when it comes to listening. Because when I'm on my cell phone and my child comes to me and says, "Ammi, something, something, something," and I continue to text message, or I continue to do what I'm doing, I'm not really giving my full attention to my child. So what I encourage parents to do is, we really, really need to listen to the cues of our children, because they are trying to get our attention because of a reason. Now, if they are coming and interrupting us, we can say, we're teaching them skills for life, right? So we say, "Puta, I am doing something right now, give me 1 second, but stay right here. Let me quickly finish my text message and I'll get back to you." And then I turn and we look at the child and help the child process their problem. Now, if we say, "I'm listening," I find myself lying there, because I am not. I'm doing something else and trying to give him or her my attention. Or if I say, "Don't come now," and chase them away, I still find myself doing something wrong, because if my child needed something right then and there, I would have missed it, because they're probably going to forget, or probably going to think that I didn't care. So, we have to find our own strategies. We can't do this all the time. If we are in a meeting and they come and interrupt, we have to form. There's no one formula for this, but simply what we really need to do is listen well. And some of the things I've studied and learned in school, they are textbook knowledge, right? But most of my experiences come with working directly with children. And one of the things I have really seen is children are watching our facial expressions. So that's how they see if we really care or not, or whether we're listening or not. So, for example, if someone asks me a question and I answer like this with a straight face and no emotional expression, the child's going to sit in his or her brain, they're going to think that I don't care because of the reaction of my face or my reaction of my hands. Or if I raise a hand, that signals a threat. Or if I smile, that signals that I'm excited and joyful to greet him. So when a child asks a question, we want to show emotions on our face. We want to show empathy. So that is key for a child to feel secure, that they can tell us the problem. Because a lot of children come to counseling saying, "I can't share this with my mother," or "I can't share this with my father," which is a really big red children are in stressful situations and they don't know how to cope. And I think if us adults learn how to cope ourselves, and then we are able to teach them also. So when a child is in distress, it is so important to answer back in a soothing voice, because if we engage in an argument, if we engage in a fight, or if our voice is louder than their distress, there is a tendency to get back in a shell, and actually the child could feel more stress. So it's a soothing, calm and gentle answer really helps. So let me focus on this big word called stress. When we talk about stress, stress isn't all bad. I think most of us may know this, but children don't know this. Children don't know that there is a positive kind of stress called eustress, eustress, and there's a word called distress. So distress is what is the negative stress, and that is what we don't want. But most of us, when we say stress, we're really talking about distress. We're not going around saying I have eustress or I have positive stress. But we need a little positive stress. Even now, I need a little positive stress, a little energy to be able to do this talk with you, right? Or if we are running a race, we kind of need that we have that exciting feeling, which is a good thing, where the stress comes, and then we come back to a place of normalcy and we can go on. So after this interview, I will go and I will just do whatever I'm doing, but that's what I mean by positive stress. But this big one called distress is the bad kind of stress that most of us, including children, experience on a day-to-day basis. So little bit of explanation on distress is where our body goes into a stress mode, kind of to fight or flight kind of response, where we either fight the danger or stressful situation or we run away from it. So typically our limbic system, so when we talk about our brain, we have different forms of different brain systems. Limbic system is the system that manages emotions and sort of emotional responses, right? And the prefrontal cortex, located in the front of our brain, is where we make decisions and we talk about controlling situations. Those are the things that are done, problem solving, done in the front part of the brain. So when we are in a stressful state, automatically our limbic system kicks in, and then all where our body is trying to do is either we fight or we flight, we run away. And then, so when a child, for example, is under stress, their limbic system is in operation, their emotions are all over the place, they may or may not know how to express themselves. Either they will scream and shout, or they will go into a shell and hide, or however they want to express themselves, they will. So their decision-making skills are not going to be highlighted in a place where they're distressed. So we as an adult, if we come and tell a child in distress, stop shouting and get up, or do something else, or why are you screaming, it's going to be unproductive, because when you're in a state of distress, you're not going to be able to make rational decisions, because that part of your brain is not operating right now. It's the same for adults.